Some countries fix problems. Korea makes them disappear, fully eliminate them, to the point where you forget the problem ever existed until you leave. And suddenly you're standing in the rain waiting for a bus, refreshing a delivery tracker at midnight, and wrestling a plastic bag onto a wet umbrella like it's 2003. A bin that weighs your food waste to the gram and bills you for exactly what you throw away. Bus stops that kill viruses and automatically call the police if they detect a scream. A delivery culture so safe that people leave groceries on their doorstep overnight without a second thought. Korea is just playing a different game entirely. Today, we're looking into 13 Korean ideas that instantly fix everyday problems. Stay until number 13. A solar-powered station that uses slow battery charging to keep kids in school. It's one of the smartest pieces of social design you'll ever hear about. Let's get into it. Number 1. The RFID food waste bin. Here's a number that should impress you. South Korea recycles over 96% of its food waste. The United States, less than 5%. The UK sits somewhere between 10 and 15%. So what changed? In the early 1990s, Korea had a real crisis. Landfills were full. The country was drowning in waste with no plan. So instead of patching the system, they scrapped it entirely and started over. Today, throwing away food in a Korean apartment complex is not as simple as lifting a lid. You tap a resident card on a metal bin. The lid swings open. A scale inside weighs your waste to the gram. A screen lights up. A voice reads out the weight. And the exact cost gets added to your monthly bill. That's the fix. Make the cost of waste immediate and personal. And people change their behavior fast. In Seoul, smart food waste bins have already cut tens of thousands of tons of scraps in just a few years. And the waste that does get collected doesn't go to a landfill. It gets shredded, dried, and turned into something useful. Much of it becomes animal feed and compost, and the rest becomes biogas that powers homes. Korea went from a 2% recycling rate in 1995 to over 96% today. That's a complete rebuild. And it started with one bin and a scale. Number 2. Smart bus shelters. Waiting for a bus in most major cities means standing in the rain, checking your phone every 30 seconds, hoping nobody sketchy sits next to you. Korea looked at that and decided it was unacceptable. Seoul's smart shelters are enclosed glass booths, but calling them bus stops undersells what they actually are. At the entrance, a thermal camera scans everyone who walks in. During the pandemic, the doors would only open if your temperature was below 37.5 degrees. Inside, UV lamps run continuously, killing viruses while keeping the air comfortable. But here's where it gets interesting. Every shelter connects to Seoul's Smart City Control Center through a live network. AI cameras inside can detect unusual movements and potentially dangerous situations. When they do, they automatically alert police or fire services. No human operator needed. The benches are heated for winter. Seoul is already expanding these shelters beyond the initial pilot areas. In the first year, they quickly became a daily habit for commuters in the districts where they were installed. They turned a bus stop into a sanctuary. The rest of the world is still putting up a plastic roof and calling it infrastructure. Number 3. Digital door locks. Think about the last time you stood at your front door, bags in both hands, digging for a key that was somehow at the very bottom of everything. Korea solved that so long ago that physical keys are now the exception. In most Korean apartment buildings, digital door locks are simply the default, and their use is still climbing. These aren't just keypads. Korean digital locks combine fingerprint scanners, PIN codes, and smartphone access in one unit. Some models integrate with fire safety systems and can automatically unlock or send alerts if a fire is detected inside. A traditional key lock will never do that. But the bigger impact is what these locks made possible. Residents share temporary codes with delivery drivers. Groceries and packages get placed inside a secure entry area, not left on an exposed porch. In the US and UK, porch pirates steal around 104 million packages a year. That costs consumers roughly $15 billion. In Korea, that problem barely exists. Not because people are more honest, but because the system was designed so theft never gets a window. A digital lock isn't just a convenience upgrade, it's the foundation of a completely different way of living. Number 4, the restaurant call bell. You know the moment. You're mid-conversation, mid-bite, and a server appears asking if everything's okay. You nod with a full mouth. They leave. 2 minutes later, you actually need something. And now they've vanished. Korea fixed this with a button on the table. You press it when you need something. The server comes. That's it. In Korea, tipping isn't practiced, so servers don't need to hover to earn their income. The call bell puts the customer in control. You eat at your own pace. You talk without interruption. And when you need something, another drink, the bill, extra napkins, you press the button and someone arrives in seconds. It's not a technology. It's a philosophy. The customer's time comes first. And a small button is all it takes to make that real. Number 5. Dawn delivery and the zero theft culture. Here's something that genuinely stops people when they first hear it. In Korea, people leave packages outside their front doors overnight, not just small ones, groceries, electronics, high-value items. And in the morning, everything is exactly where it was left. Coupang, Korea's version of Amazon, runs what they call rocket delivery. Order before 11 p.m. Your package arrives before 7 a.m., not as a premium option, as the standard. Meanwhile, 104 million packages are stolen every year in the United States. Nearly half of all U.S. adults have had a package taken. The cost to consumers runs around $15 billion a year. In Korea, that number is negligible. Part of it is CCTV. Korea has one of the densest camera networks in the world. Getting caught stealing isn't a risk, it's almost a certainty. But it goes deeper than cameras. There's a social understanding that touching someone else's property carries real consequences, legal, social, and reputational. The result is a delivery system that works like clockwork. You order at night, it's there in the morning. No anxiety, no tracking, no porch camera footage to review. For anyone who's ever refreshed a delivery app at midnight, this feels less like a logistics upgrade and more like a different world entirely. Number 6, the pink light campaign. Early pregnancy is physically exhausting and socially invisible. You're tired, you're nauseous, you need a seat on a crowded train, but you don't look pregnant yet. And asking a stranger to move is uncomfortable, sometimes impossible. Busan solved this with Bluetooth. Expectant mothers carry a small beacon. When they come within 2 meters of a priority seat on public transit, the handrail above that seat glows pink. No words, no confrontation, just a quiet signal that says someone who needs this seat is nearby. The person sitting sees the light. The woman sits down. Nobody said a word. This is what happens when technology is used to solve a human problem instead of a commercial one. The Pink Light campaign is part of a broader effort to make city life more livable for families, in a country with one of the lowest birth rates in the world. A beacon and a light. Minimal cost, real impact, and proof that the most effective solutions are rarely the most complicated ones. Number 7. Automated umbrella dryers. On a rainy day, a single large shopping mall in Seoul can hand out up to 10,000 plastic umbrella sleeves. You know the ones. The thin bags you wrestle with at the entrance before trailing wet footprints across the floor anyway. Korea replaced the whole system. Automated umbrella dryers are now standard at mall entrances, office buildings, and transit hubs across the country. You insert your wet umbrella into a slim vertical slot. High-speed air jets fire around it. In seconds, it's dry. No plastic sleeve, no wet floor, no slipping hazard. The environmental math is simple. Biodegradable sleeves are far more expensive than plastic ones. The dryers eliminate the need for either. One machine handles thousands of umbrellas a day with zero ongoing waste. It's a small thing, but once you've seen it, every dripping umbrella stand in every other building lobby starts to look like a choice someone made and never revisited. Number 8. Unmanned 24/7 stores. In Hongdae, one of Seoul's busiest neighborhoods, there are places people call ramyun libraries. Over 100 varieties of instant noodles. Self-cooking stations where a machine boils the water and cooks your order. You pick, pay at a kiosk, and eat. No staff, open 24 hours, and spotless. Unmanned stores are spreading across South Korea. Ramen cafes, vintage clothing shops, convenience stores, snack boutiques. They run on self-pay kiosks, dense CCTV coverage, and a culture where the cost of getting caught stealing far outweighs any possible gain. The most striking part isn't the technology, it's the trust. Designer vintage clothing left on racks in an unstaffed shop at 2 a.m., still there in the morning. This isn't blind faith, it's a system deliberately built through surveillance, social norms, and real legal consequences to make honesty the easiest option. The result is a retail model that runs 24/7, cuts labor costs, and somehow feels more orderly than most staffed stores back home. Number 9. AI smoking coexistence zones. Public smoking is one of those problems no city has ever really solved. Ban it, and you create resentment. Ignore it, and non-smokers suffer. Most places just pick a side and manage the complaints. Korea engineered a solution that works for both. In Seocho-gu, a central Seoul district, AI cameras scan public spaces for smokers in non-smoking zones. When someone lights up where they shouldn't, the system broadcasts a deterrence message in real time. No officer, no confrontation, just an immediate automated response. Now here's the part that ended up being recognized in National Public Design Awards. For designated smoking areas, the district built enclosed booths that use powerful air curtains and suction to pull smoke inward and keep it from leaking into the street. Smokers smoke. The air outside stays fresh. No smell drifting down the sidewalk. Smokers and non-smokers. Same street. No conflict. That's not a compromise. That's a solved problem. Number 10. The solar cow. Korean innovation doesn't stop at Korea's borders. In rural communities across sub-Saharan Africa, two problems exist, side by side. Families don't have reliable electricity, and children don't attend school consistently because their families need them at home. A Korean company called Yoke looked at both problems and built one solution. The solar cow is a solar-powered charging station installed at schools. Children bring a small battery, called a power milk, and plug it in when they arrive. The battery charges slowly throughout the school day, deliberately slowly. Because if it charged in an hour, parents would pull their kids out after an hour. By matching the charge time to a full school day, Yoke made staying in class the rational economic choice. The family gets a fully charged power bank. The child gets an education. The incentive and the outcome line up perfectly. That's design thinking at its best. Not just solving a problem, but understanding the human behavior around it and building the solution to work with that behavior instead of against it. Number 11. Modular and kinetic furniture. Seoul is one of the most densely populated cities on Earth. Apartments are small, life moves fast, and a living space needs to do more than one thing. Korean designers responded with furniture that transforms. Brands like Coolpiece and Linky build pieces that shift and reconfigure. A bookshelf that becomes a room divider, a desk that folds into a wall unit, a seating system that converts into a bed. These aren't novelty items. They're practical responses to the reality of urban density, showcased at international design fairs in 2025 and increasingly adopted across Asia. The logic is straightforward. In a city where space costs more than almost anything else, furniture that only does one job is furniture that's failing you half the time. It's a mindset the rest of the world, facing its own housing crunch, is only just starting to adopt. Number 12. Jjimjilbang, 24/7, reset for body and mind. Everyday stress is one of those problems most cities just accept. You work late, stare at a screen, go home, and scroll yourself to sleep. Solution is usually a gym membership you never use. Korea built something completely different. A Jjimjilbang is a traditional Korean bathhouse that runs more like a 24/7 wellness center. You pay a small entry fee and get access to hot and cold baths, multiple saunas at different temperatures, nap rooms, snack bars, even gyms and game areas under one roof. People come with friends, with family, or completely alone to sweat, scrub, sleep, and reset. The logic is simple. Heat therapy helps your muscles relax. The saunas make you sweat out a day's worth of tension. The no-phones communal spaces give you a forced digital detox. You can show up exhausted at midnight, sleep on a warm floor, soak in the baths at 6 a.m., and go straight to work feeling like you've done a full spa weekend for the price of a cheap dinner. Number 13, the super app, Kakao. And finally, the innovation that quietly connects everything else. For many countries, digital life is fragmented. One app for messages, another for payments, another for taxis, another for government services. The switching is constant, and the friction is something most people have just accepted. In Korea, most of that friction doesn't exist. Kakao Talk started as a messaging app. It's now closer to an operating system for daily life. You message friends, split a bill, book a taxi, receive government alerts, pay at a store, check your bank, and order food. All from one app, one account, without logging in again or re-entering anything. This is why Coupang's Dawn delivery works. It's why unmanned stores run smoothly. It's why the RFID waste system connects to utility billing. Every piece of Korea's smart infrastructure plugs into a digital layer that most Koreans use without thinking about it. For anyone juggling 8 different apps to get through a Tuesday morning, Kakao Talk isn't impressive for its features. It's impressive for what it removes. The friction, the switching, the repetition. Korea didn't build better apps. It built a better system. And that difference between an app and a system is exactly what separates fixing a problem from eliminating it. 13 ideas, one consistent pattern. Every single one of them started with someone asking, what is the actual problem here? And what would it take to make it disappear completely? Not improve it, not manage it, make it disappear. That's the Korean approach. And once you see it, you start noticing how rarely the rest of the world actually thinks that way. If this video made you question why your city isn't doing the same, hit like and subscribe. There's a lot more where this came from.